Hello, everybody. Welcome to another session of Pastor Doug's virtual VIP midweek Bible study. We've been out of our routine for some time now. Lots of different things going on,
Mostly
but
my fault.
really excited to have him back. You want to tell everybody where you were and what you did?
I
Kind of neat.
did. I spent 2 weeks, most of 2 weeks, traveling through Alaska, which was spectacular. We had phenomenal weather. It was a blessing. The tour guides were telling us they've never seen weather like this day after day after day. So it was warm, it was clear. We got to see Denali, which is 20,310 feet tall. It was beautiful. Silly me, I didn't know. I thought Mount McKinley was the highest point in America. It
Mhm.
turns out it is. They renamed it. It was Denali. It became Mount McKinley. Then it became Denali again. So that's what we got to see. We saw moose, caribou, bear, humpback whales, killer whales, otters, sea lions, eagles. It was just an amazing
how
trip.
how long was the trip?
It was 12 days.
Wow, good deal.
And
It's a cruise,
Alaska,
right? A cruise.
well, it was 5 days over land via bus and train, seeing the land, and then we took a cruise down the outer banks of the outer shoreline of Alaska, and it was just spectacular. Just we think about the beautiful countryside we live here, and we are blessed to live where we live.
Mhm.
And then you go out to like the Rockies, and man, these are real mountains. Then you go to Alaska, and it's like everywhere you look, it's just spectacular scenery. And then Denali just dwarfs everything, so it's just amazing. And he's just thinking like, you look at this, go, okay, God, you're just showing off now. It's definitely a spiritual a trip.
That's pretty cool. We're glad to have you back, and
Glad
we're
to be
glad
back.
glad
Thank
to
you.
be back together and doing what I think both of us both enjoy doing is
Hmm.
ministering to you guys and especially ministering together. Um, you know, we have our general routine is to talk about the message on Sunday, but I had such a as you guys know, it's been an emotional kind of month for me with lots of things going on. And we have a devotional that we've been promoting here at Faith Church for some time, and I know many of you have it. The book called Jesus Calling. And yesterday's devotional was really, really impactful to me. Look at my glasses are crooked. Look at that.
Yeah,
Why is that? That means
I
my
think
head's
your
probably
ears are off center, and it's just, I can say that because I know mine are. That's why I
are
know the
they? Let me
problem.
look. Let me look.
Well, you can't tell there, but when you put the glasses on, the same thing. It's not level.
They may be. I want to read this to you, but and then I'm going to ask you what line was the most impactful
You're
to
going to
you.
ask me.
I'm going to
He's
ask
going
you
to put me on the
what
spot.
line was the
Welcome
most
back.
no, what line was the most impactful to me.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
probably going to be wrong, okay?
probably.
But listen to this. And when I explain this book to people, I'm giving it to folks that I'm counseling or whatever, and I say, look, I want you to look at this book as if God were actually speaking to you in these private moments. So here you are, you wake up in the morning, you want to start off your day with your prayer and your communication with God, and you're talking to God, and here's what he's saying to you. And he's saying this, he's saying, let me show you my way for you this day. I guide you continually so you can relax and enjoy my presence in the present. Living well is both a discipline and an art. Concentrate on staying close to me, the divine artist. Discipline your thoughts to trust me as I work my ways in your life. Pray about everything. Then leave outcomes up to me. Do not fear my will, for through it I accomplish what is best for you. Take a deep breath and dive into the depths of absolute trust in me. Underneath are the everlasting arms. I know there's a lot there.
Hmm.
And when I read this, and I don't know if it was me in that moment of just of hurt or pain or maybe need, but
Hmm.
boy, it just really touched me, and I thought, whoa, was that way more impactful than normal, or was I more sensitive than
Hmm.
usual? But it really hit me hard.
Oh, I believe it. You realize from reading the Bible, sometimes you read a passage and think, yeah, I've read this 20 times. And then 21st time you go, oh, I really get it now. Because maybe you're finally ready for the understanding that God wants to share with you, just like this devotional was. It was meant for you for that time.
I liked it too, Doug, and I was going to ask you, but I'm going to tell you. The part about living well is both a discipline and an art.
I knew that was one you were going to
Was that
pick.
what you're? No, would you have said that?
Yes, I was thinking between that one and one about just let go, just trust me.
But living well is
Mhm.
both a discipline and an art. So when I say that to you, what does that mean to you? If I say living well is both a discipline and an art, what does that mean to you?
Well, the discipline part, I certainly understand because I think that if we're not disciplined, then our lives are just kind of, bouncing all over the place, and we don't have any real basis for good or bad. We just kind of bounce around with whatever happens to us. The art part is a little more challenging for me because I am not artistic at all. If I had to draw something right now, you would not know what it was. I'm still in the world of stick people and lollipop trees. That's as far as my artistic ability goes. I do think on rare occasion I get to be creative,
Mhm.
and I give God credit for that because I don't think of myself as a creative person. I know some very creative people, like my daughter Megan is phenomenal. The things she can just do and dream up, it just blows me away. Um, but yeah, I think to live well, which is the goal for all of us,
Mhm.
but to live well needs to be discipline, which I also think in terms of being intentional. Am I going to actually have a plan for my day? Or am I just going to, willy nilly, oh, look at that. And then you kind of drift with the wind and whatever kind of blows your way. That makes sense. I get that. The artistic part, a little more challenging for me.
I think if we look at one of the main themes of belief is trusting.
Hmm.
Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
So trusting is an active word. I'm trusting, and so what happens? What is actually trusting? Let's just talk about that. So
Hmm.
what is the action of trusting? So I'm putting aside what? My doubts, my fears.
Sure. And I'm just relying on somebody else, meaning in this case, God. It should be in any case. Well, of course, we trust each other. I trust
All
you.
right, so trusting includes God then, right?
Absolutely. Well, I think that's the foundation for trust. I mean, how do we actually trust somebody? And there are two schools of thought here. I think some people will want to know you for a period of time, and then you would sort of earn their trust by your
Mhm.
behavior and how you treat them over a period of time. Another school of thought, which is the one I choose, is to just automatically trust people. I give them the benefit of the doubt. And then if they let me down, well, we're humans, we're going to make mistakes. But I choose to live in that world where I want to trust people.
So let's think about it in the context of this book, Jesus Calling. So this is talking about a faith. So
Hmm.
when we talk about trust, we're talking about a trust in God, in our
Hmm.
in our God figure, in Jesus Christ. So having trust in God, taking that action, then to trust in God, then that takes away, we're removing our fears,
Hmm.
we're removing our doubts, and we're going to take on this action of belief. And then we got to live that way. And this is what I liked about it. See, either we're going to do that or we're not.
Hmm.
If you're going to be a Christian and you're not going to have that active faith, what's the good?
Right.
We're wasting it. It is, and the wording of it was just so impactful. Living well is both so there's a discipline in
Hmm.
trusting God.
Hmm.
And you think, well, sure, Pastor, that's pretty basic, right? But is it basic to the point of that's what we actually do? And if
Hmm.
it is, why haven't we? And
Right.
why aren't we?
Yeah. Well, it's basic to the point of without faith, there can't be any trust. So, it's easy to say, oh, sure, I believe in God, I believe, but then, like you said, do you put it into action? And by putting it into action, that then is trust.
Hmm.
Am I gonna say the words? Am I gonna actually trust God to deliver all the promises that the Bible says that He will? And for me to go through my day and like, okay, I'm living my life, I'm getting through, this is all good, Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, by the way, God, I'll think about you now.
Mhm.
That's not the way it works. It's not an afterthought. It needs to be the main thought. And that's what really trusting is putting him first and knowing, not thinking, but knowing that he will come through for you.
So where is the art part of it? Living well is the discipline, but then you can become good at it. And for me, I think I need to get better at not allowing the negative side to defeat me, not allow the negative side. I don't think I can say it defeats me, but it slows me down.
Mhm.
It messes me up. It hinders my progress. And I think I do a really good job, or I try to, maybe not to those that are closer to me. You can tell, and when I'm troubled, those
Mhm.
are they can tell. But I try to not show that very much because I have things I need to do and information I need per, to give out. And so you need to have that coming from somebody that you feel confident in.
Mhm.
And so I try to not show that, but the art of it is to know, hey, here comes the pressure. I know what I'm going to do. It's kind of like, we are all going to the beach now, right? And so you're walking out into the waves and you know that wave is coming, to kind of lean into it because it's going to hit you and push you back. If you don't prepare for it, you get knocked over. So that art of living well is preparing for what's coming to be ready for
Mhm. And excuse me, in the case of the wave, you can see it coming.
it.
So you
Yeah,
can
that's true.
prepare. A lot of times things happen in our lives that catch us off guard, and we really can't prepare for it. I mean, actually, we can. And this is, I think, the big broad picture of being a Christian, because we can react to the circumstances of life, the things that hit us, the things that we don't expect out of the blue. We can react as the world reacts,
Hmm.
or we can respond as the Christian person that I want to be. And that's a mindset. And that again is constant trust in God. Law enforcement folks do this all the time. They will go through scenarios in their head, and they will have already played out so many different scenarios, hoping they never have to be confronted with it.
Hmm.
But when and if it happens, they already have a response in mind.
Hmm.
They've already thought it through. Same thing with our daily lives. Maybe this is part of being creative. Is we can sort of daydream or sort of pre-think about scenarios like, well, what if this happens? Boy, I'd like to be able to do this. You know how a lot of times after something happens, maybe if I'm saying, oh, I could have said this would have been the perfect thing to
Yeah.
say. Well, for me, it's always 5 minutes later, and it's lost. So I don't have that perfect thing.
Yeah,
But if somehow we could avoid that knee-jerk human fleshly
sure.
response and have the reaction, but have the response that we wish we could say, and if we think about it ahead of time and just trust God, then those words will come.
I think that's part of the living well as a discipline. We're disciplined, we're trained. In all areas of our lives, sports, business, or whatever, we have these disciplines. In our devotional life, we are disciplined that we read the Bible, that we have our prayer life, we have our Bible
Mhm.
studies. We come to church on Sundays, we pray, we do all of those that we know work, and it can become an art to us that we know exactly what it takes for us to stay close to God, to stay, I like to say, in tune with God, where God knows my heart, where me reaching out to God in prayer isn't like this big event, because I feel like I'm close to him all the time.
Mhm.
It's not like, hey, dear Lord, no, no, he's right there, because I talked to him this morning when I woke up, and I never said goodbye. I never said, okay, I'll talk to you later on tonight. I don't do that. I like to have this constant
Mhm.
communication with God, and I think it's kind of healthy. Anyway, take a look at that. If you have the Jesus Calling book, go to July 2nd. Take a look at it and read it for yourself. See if it has that. And I think it maybe is where I was in my life at that moment, that it just, and I'm telling you, it was like a shock to me when I read it, and I thought, whoa, this is exactly what I needed today. And I read it a couple times. I even took a screenshot of it so I could take it with me during the day. And I went back and I looked at it later on. But I'd encourage you to find yourself that devotional or those Bible scriptures that really impact you. Get your power verses that Pastor Doug goes over each week and have those handy so God can speak to you through those. Really enjoyed talking with you again. Really glad to have my buddy back in town and we're back connected and hopefully we can get these weekly things back out to you more on time like we like to do. God bless you. Hope to see you on Sunday. Oh, I'm going to do one more message on goodness. I wanted to bring in some more information about heaven. And so I'm going to be talking about surely goodness and mercy will follow you all the days of your life, and you will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that on Sunday. Hope to see you Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. God bless you. Have a great week.